Hello and welcome once again to Influences of Times as we bring you to this next location. Thank you so much for tuning in and for watching. Have you ever wondered what it's like to be underneath Europe's largest multi-storey, multiplex road interchange in the whole of Europe? Well, Influences of Times is live right now on Saturday the 3rd of September 2016. We're going to bring you live right now to broadcast from this very location. Take a look up there. We're at the very, very centre of this massive, huge location. Now, you wouldn't think that this location would be of interest. However, when I found out that it was possible to actually come underneath this giant concrete jungle, Influences of Times just had to come and take a look. Now, you probably can guess roughly whereabouts I am. I'm actually just outside the city centre of Birmingham, and I'm currently standing underneath the Europe's largest multi-storey interchanging road system. I'm currently at Gravely Hill, also known as Spaghetti Junction, and it is, believe it or not, an incredible place to broadcast from. Like I said, not only is it not abandoned or derelict, it still has a fascinating atmosphere, and it's not until you're actually down here that you really get a scale of how big this place really is. It really is just a concrete jungle. It's amazing. So just to give you a little bit of feedback, first of all, thank you for tuning in and for watching. Hopefully you can hear me. You can probably hear all the traffic above us right now. But yes, thank you so much for tuning in and for watching, and hopefully you're finding this interesting, even though it's not a derelict or abandoned location. Hopefully you're finding it interesting. I'll try and make it as interesting as possible, and we'll go for a little bit of a walk, and you can just see what it's like underneath this massive road system. It is absolutely unbelievable. And you wouldn't think that there's a hidden world underneath this system. As the world goes by above us, literally above my head, there are tons and tons and tons of traffic. Hundreds of people are passing over my head every single minute. But yet underneath, there's this different world. This, I don't know, it's just amazing to actually be part of it and to come here right now. So as I said, I'm at Gravely Hill, also known as, most recognisable as Spaghetti Junction. The first idea came back in 1965. There was a gentleman called Roy Smith, I believe his name was, and he was an editor, and he actually produced an article in the Birmingham Mail and actually suggested that the plans for this very, very interchange looked like a plate of spaghetti, or in a kind of way it was an attempt to look a little bit like the Stratford knot. So that's where the nickname has actually come from. It's actually come from this editor who published an article in the newspaper back in 1965 to say that it looked like a plate of spaghetti, hence the name Spaghetti Junction. Now, Spaghetti Junction is probably the most famous, most recognisable road interchange system in the whole world. And in fact, its name is so well known that other countries around the world have adopted the same name for their own version of Spaghetti Junction. This site covers 30 acres of land. I can't even tell you how enormous this place is. You can probably see I'm standing right underneath the M6. Spaghetti Junction is the M6 and also the A38 of the Aston Expressway, and it connects the two together, and it takes you in and out of Birmingham, as long as various other different places around this kind of junction itself. The system itself was actually made in 1968, and it took 4 years to build, and it was actually costing £10 million to actually produce and make this system. We're now talking about 40 years or more later, and it's even bigger than it was originally. As I mentioned, it covers 30 acres. It costs £10 million to make, and yeah, it's just so big. It really is. Now, the first vehicles to actually use this interchange was on something like the 24th of May of 1972, about 4:30 in the afternoon. That's when the first vehicles actually used this highway, or this interchange system. Now, a couple of years ago, as many as 40,000 vehicles would pass over this system every day. Today, that's got up to 210,000 vehicles every single day. That equates to about 2 billion vehicles in 1 year. So you can do the mathematics. So if you work that out 5 or 10 years, that is a lot of traffic. A lot. Now, this whole system comprises of something like, I think it's like 35,000 tons of reinforced steel. It comprises of 135 or 138,000 tons of concrete. It's made of 559 columns or concrete pillars, and some of those pillars are 80 feet tall, so they're roughly 2, maybe 3 double-deckers high. The noise is just, I've never heard anything like it. I've heard traffic, I've heard busy roads, I've heard busy traffic, but I've never heard anything like this. And to think that there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of cars passing over my head, or vehicles passing over me right this second. Probably see the road just behind me in the distance. If I go just that way, you probably see one road that way. There's actually another 2 over that way. Like I said, I'm onto the biggest one, the M6 right now, but we'll have a bit of a look around in a minute so you can get an idea. The canal is literally right next to me, literally just feet away. There's a canal system here, and just over the other side, just maybe a 10-15 minute walk, you've got a massive reservoir, which is crazy to think you've got this massive, huge, busy concrete jungle with all this traffic and everybody going about their daily lives, going from one place to another or whatever the case may be, and then you've got this tranquil reservoir with swans and geese and birds, and totally different. And when you're there, you can't hear this, you can't even really see it apart from 1 or 2 of the slip roads, but it's just really quiet. So you've got these 2 different worlds together. As I mentioned before, there's no abandoned or derelict places underneath or left here, which I was kind of hoping for, but there isn't really anything left. However, just before Spaghetti Junction increased in size, there were actually blocks of flats not far away from here, actually 3 huge blocks of flats. It's amazing to think that they were there, not too far away. I think it was just over that way. And obviously they've been knocked down and demolished to make way for this huge system. Now, Spaghetti Junction is the largest road system in the whole of Europe, not just in UK, but the whole of Europe. And when you see aerial pictures of Spaghetti Junction, and when you're down here, you can see why. You really can. Just trying to think if there's anything else that I can kind of say. I've tried to give you as much information as I know. Just trying to think if there's anything else. I think what we'll do, we'll have a bit of a look around, and then if I come up, or if I can think of anything else, then I'll let you know. But just a couple of other things as well. You wouldn't believe it, but this system, this interchange, every single day, there's a special group of people, maintenance people, who maintain this system, this road system, every single day. Unbeknown to people who pass by, unbeknown to the people who are driving past. Believe it or not, just to my right or just to your left, on closed off cordoned areas, you've got all these different vehicles and maintenance vehicles all tucked away underneath the motorway system, and their job is solely to keep this system up and running every single day. Now, from what I've read, there's as many as 210 incidences on anywhere given on this system every day. That's everything from flat tyres to breakdowns to actual quite bad crashes and that kind of thing. But 210 a day, that's an awful lot when you think about it. I have to say, this is probably one of the worst places that you could break down, have a flat tyre, a puncture, or anything else. I can't think of a worse place to be, actually, although you're quite close to Birmingham, because it's so busy. I think I'd like to break down on here somewhere. Now, because this covers such a vast area, and because it's so busy, Spaghetti Junction's got its own weather system, its own weather station, to monitor the weather conditions around this place every single day. Every second of every day is monitoring wind, rain, fog, and everything else. Now, this Spaghetti Junction has as many as 18 different routes or slip roads or slipways. It has 3 electronic boards and 24 roadside telephones that you can use in case you get into difficulties, whatever the case may be. It's just fascinating, it really is. And like I said, the noise, I wouldn't say it's deafening, but it is fascinating. Just think of all those people passing over my head right now, tons and tons of traffic, let alone the concrete and the motorway system above me. We can't really get any further down than this. Obviously I'm at the water level, so I'm as far down as I can get. I can't get any lower down than this. This is as low down as you can get. But in some places there is as many as 3 or 4 motorways or 3 or 4 roads on top of each other above you, so you can get an idea of how high this place is. It's absolutely spectacular. It really is something else. And I never thought of coming here to do a broadcast, but I'm so glad I did. And I said it wasn't until the other week when somebody actually showed me an article which showed photographers down here taking photographs of underneath Spaghetti Junction. I just knew I had to come and do a broadcast. So there we go. Just trying to think if there's anything else. I'm going through all the different facts and figures that I've read. Hopefully some more will come to my mind. But let's go for a bit of a tour and show you around a bit. Just see what I'm talking about. So if I pick you up, so you can see the canal is literally just right next to me. And if you look, that's the M6 directly above me. And if you look, you can see all the different slip roads. Now, it actually says that in order, if you travelled on every single section of this system, you would actually, and that's just this alone, not any other piece of road, literally just every single strip of road of Spaghetti Junction, you would actually travel 74 miles. That's nearly 100 miles, which is amazing. If you actually travelled on the motorway section of this system, you would only travel for 0.64 miles. That's less than a mile. That's just over half a mile. So you can get an idea of, there's not much motorway, it's all made up of routes, slip roads, slipways, interchanging lanes. I think you get the drift. Just can't get my head around how big this place is. Incredible. Let's go down that way, give you an idea of what it's like. Walk down this way. As you can see, if I turn it that way, you can kind of see where I am. So we're going to walk that way to give you an idea. Went for a bit of a dance then. But it is just amazing. These pillars, just absolutely massive. Some of them are as tall as, like I said, well, almost as tall as a house, maybe taller. You can hear the traffic. Unbelievable. But luckily the weather's improved a little bit as well, so it's not as wet as it was earlier, so I've timed it just right. Okay, so let's just, so you can see. Crazy. It's massive. Let's go a little bit further. This way. So we're now in the darkest part of Spaghetti Junction. Probably the quietest bit. see is quite dark. Thankfully, not as dark as Colsley Tunnel or Netherton Tunnel or Dudley Tunnel. So let's take a walk down this way. And what we'll do is we'll just spend a couple of minutes in here, and then we'll go at the other side, and then we'll finish. I'm afraid this really is kind of a quick broadcast, and like I said, there's not really, other than the scale and the size and what I've kind of researched about Spaghetti Junction, there's not really much else to show you, but I did think this would be something different for you guys, as well as for myself. But it is still fascinating in a way, but let's keep going. Almost there. Let's go just here. Lucky. Pop down there. Hopefully, sorry. Sometimes you get cyclists passing through, just making sure that I don't get knocked over by a cyclist, or worse still, I knock a cyclist over. If I just stand to one side, you get that beautiful picture of palm trees. Why is it whenever I come to do a broadcast, like yesterday when I was in the college, this is before I did the broadcast, so I went in the college, as you know, walking up the stairs, nice and quiet, just kind of having a look around, and these three pigeons decided to fly towards me. Not anywhere else. They could have gone out the window, they could have gone up, they could have gone anywhere, but no, they flew towards me and they frightened the living death out of me. That was a pigeon as well. They always do it. Every location I go to, I should expect that. There's bound to be pigeons, but they always wait till you're really close, even in the dark, and then they decide to fly at you. Right, anyway. So you get this lovely picture, you get this lovely shaft. There's actually a couple of them, not so much in the other areas of Spaghetti Junction, but in particular this tunnel. You get these little kind of shafts of light. It's quite nice the way that comes down just in front of that picture, but that is actually quite nice. I'm just gonna, oops, sorry. Someone's blinded you on my fingers. So you get that nice little picture. So as you're walking through, so I guess at night time that would be lit up as well, because you've got like street lights and stuff, so I suppose you'd still see it, which is probably why that shaft is there as well, should I say, the picture's been put by the shaft. So yeah, you're walking through, it's quite dark, and then you see that lovely picture. A bit random really, but I think that's quite nice, to be honest. So, there you go, Spaghetti Junction. Like I said, I know it's a really quick broadcast, and I probably haven't really given a lot of facts and a lot of figures and stuff. There is so much more. In fact, if you Google Spaghetti Junction, if you're fascinated or interested or want to know any more, then have a look on Google. There's I think Birmingham Mail or ITV News or something, there's about 40 facts about Spaghetti Junction. So there's lots of things, some of the things that I've already mentioned, as well as other bits and pieces as well. But yeah, it is still an incredible place to be. And I'm just so glad I could come here and do a broadcast with you. But like I said, I appreciate this probably hasn't been as interesting as the previous ones that I've done. But even so, I thought I'd bring you here just to show you what it's like underneath Europe's largest road system. And I just never ever thought of coming here, never thought of coming here at all. It's nothing what I expected. I don't know what I expected, but it's far more interesting than I thought it would be. I'm so glad that I've come here. Those pigeons are trying really hard to frighten me even more. I think what we'll do is we've got cyclists coming in. We'll go on a bit further and we'll do a little bit more of a kind of look about, and then I'll finish, I think, because there's not really much else I can show you, but I was just hoping you'd kind of get an idea of what it's like, the scale, I'm sure a lot of people can relate to Spaghetti Junction. Let me just move off the path a bit because the cyclist is coming. I don't want to get tweaked at. But you can kind of get on. Everybody can relate to Spaghetti Junction. Either you've heard of, I mean, obviously everybody's heard of Spaghetti Junction at some point. You know, either you've driven on Spaghetti Junction itself, or even just know of the fact that it's such a large multi kind of interchange road system. Yeah, and in fact, Spaghetti Junction is so well known and so enormous that it's found its place in the Guinness Book of Records as well. So that's quite interesting. But yeah, we can all kind of relate to it. We've all heard of it. So some of you guys watching may have actually driven over Spaghetti Junction. But it's just fascinating to know that there is a world underneath this concrete jungle. Completely different world. Up there, it's all traffic, lights, sirens, busybodies, people going about their business, to and froing, long journeys, flights ahead. For some people it's a regular commute. Maybe some people use this every single day to and from work. But for people like me, for one, I'm really grateful that I've got somewhere as fascinating as this, as well as that college and other places on my doorstep. But it's also a different experience and a different world for me too, because I never thought that you could actually come underneath Spaghetti Junction. And to think that we're standing in a tunnel and there's roads above us right now. I mean, it's a bit quieter in here. To think of all that motorway and it's just quite impressive, really. So I'm going to take it to the other side of the tunnel, have a little bit more of a look around, and then we'll finish. Yeah, we'll do that. Pick it up again. Well, actually, I'll tell you what, I'm quite sure that's a good idea. Or not. Get an eye. You can see. Tunnel. There's that picture. Let's keep going. Go this way. There's loads of dripping water as well. Obviously because it's been raining. But there must be some kind of drainage system. Obviously the water's got to go somewhere, so you get a lot of dripping water. So you kind of get a bit of a shower sometimes. I've had one already, so I don't really want another one. Let's go around this way. And what would just kind of come up a bit. So that's where we walk through. You can see. So what we'll do is walk on a little bit more, and then I think we'll stop. And where I started the broadcast is the most complex part of the interchange. As you go down a bit further, you've got a massive roundabout. As you stand in the middle of it and look up, you've literally got all these different roads kind of circling above you. But where we started the broadcast is actually the most complex part of the entire junction, really. It's where the most busiest, heaviest bit of the junction is. We've got somebody waving at me on the bus. It's different. Never had that before. Okay, let's just go down underneath this bridge. And then we'll finish. Until the next time. Come on, it's dropped on. Jump. Let's go into here. So we're now underneath the Salford Bridge, I think it was called. Just walking along. Let's do it. Whew. That wasn't too bad after all. Okay. Go down that side. So you can see. So you've got the canal there that runs back towards Birmingham way, I think. And then you've got the main canal that way as well. Now you can get an idea of the traffic. Oh, okay. I'll try not to slip because we're going downhill now. There you go, made it. Okay. Just give you a quick look around. So if I pan that way, you can see like the footbridges that go over the canal. There's the canal that goes off that way. And then as you go up, you can see that there, look, and we've actually got some maintenance people working just in between them billboards there. Remember I mentioned about the maintenance people? They're up there working away now. But there you go. That is the M6. Okay. So, we'll come out the way before I get knocked over again. Put you on the floor. Hold on to you, otherwise you're going to fall on your back. I don't really want to drop you, really. So there you go, Spaghetti Junction. Hopefully you found this interesting, hopefully you enjoyed this broadcast. Yeah, thank you as always for tuning in, for watching, and for joining me, Infos of the Times, as we continue to go in search of lost, forgotten worlds and abandoned and derelict places around the UK. Stay tuned, as always, I always say this, but stay tuned, keep watching. I've got plenty more locations in mind. Hopefully we'll be visiting another location very, very soon, either Tuesday or within the next week or two. I've got somewhere in mind, so I'm hoping I'm going to get a broadcast from somewhere. I'm not going to tell you where or when, but it'll be soon. So, until the next time, thank you for joining me, God bless, take care, and see you soon, thank you.